Hello guys. So this is the module overview for module number 4. This time you will be writing an argumentative paper. And so basically what you're going to try to do in this one is you're going to pick a subject that you care about. I'll go ahead and open up the paper just like before. You're going to pick a subject that you have a strong set of feelings about, preferably one that doesn't involve politics or anything like that, but if you have to, then that's fine. But what you're going to do is write a 3 to 5 page MLA paper that makes an argument about a subject of your choice. You guys have made arguments before in the papers that you wrote in high school. The idea of an argument like this is that you want to not only make a solid argument that makes sense and has good ideas behind it, but you also want to back it up with sources. In the last paper you only had the one source, but this is going to be the first paper where you are going to have several different sources, which need to be scholarly in nature. They need to be, well, not, some of these won't be super scholarly, but they at least need to be credible sources. Sources where the people in them know what they're talking about. Sources where they're not just clickbait or something like that. So, subjects that people end up writing about for papers like this, you could write about why they shouldn't have standardized tests in schools if you want to. You can write about why a certain game engine is better than another game engine. Whatever you feel like is fine. Something to keep in mind, though, for this paper, you want to pick something that is arguable. So there's some examples of that down here. You don't want to pick an argument that's obviously true, like slavery being wrong, because there's really not that much to say about it. There aren't very many people that would openly state that they disagree with that. And the ones that do disagree with it are crazy, right? So there's not really two sides to that. You want to pick something that actually has two sides. So instead of picking slavery is wrong, you could talk about how for-profit prisons are bad. Now, there's definitely two sides to that argument. One side sees it as a cheaper way to do prisons. The other side sees it as a definite conflict of interest that just leads to more people getting convicted of stupider crimes. The world is round. Again, people that would argue against that are crazy. So that's not a very good argument to make. But you could argue about why people think the world is flat, like the specific reason. And so if you said that some people think the world is flat because of a loss of faith in science, then that would be a better argument to make. Yeah, so support this. You're supporting your argument here with primary and secondary sources. Is there anything else to say about this? Yeah, I think that covers it. So to go back to the module, you're going to have a few different pieces of homework here in the first week. The first one is our video assignment that you'll have for this one. What you're going to do for this is you will pick a sentence mechanics issue that has come up over and over again. There's several examples of these here that you can pick from. Try to pick one that you actually have seen being a problem in your paper. So when you get the feedback for papers 1 and 2, you should, if you have sentence structure problems, know about one of these and know which ones of these you're committing. So if you're doing lots of run-ons and few sentences, maybe pick that one. And what you're going to do is make a very short little presentation that shows what these problems are, explains it in your own words, gives examples of how they work, and gives examples of how to fix them. And then you'll respond to other people in the chat doing the same thing in the replies. So there's a longer video here showing you exactly how to go through that and giving you an example. Let's see. So the next thing after that is the chapter that you're supposed to read, or where are we? Here we are. So the readings, you're going to read chapter 12. Then you'll have some questions to answer about it, which I think are pretty similar to the ones before. Yeah, pretty similar. Pretty straightforward. Just making sure that you read the chapter and got the ideas down. The next one is this article on logical fallacies. This is talking about 15 logical fallacies that that make arguments bad. And this is basically just covering how to not have bad arguments. So you'll read over this paper. There's several different examples here of bad types of arguments, and there's a lot of different ones that you can lump together here. Some of these you have heard of before, like the bandwagon fallacy, where a bunch of people start supporting something just because it's the popular thing to do. We usually talk about it in sports, but it also applies to a lot of other things. Other ones you probably never heard of before, like the red herring fallacy, which is when you make a argument that's completely off topic just to throw people off. They call it that because a red herring is a really smelly fish that they would use to distract dogs that they were training to hunt foxes. So, yeah, there's a lot of different ones here. Go ahead and read over these, and then your next assignment after that will be to talk about logical fallacies that have happened in your own life. So you'll talk about an argument that you had with somebody, what the argument was about, and what logical fallacy they were using. And then the second part of this is you're going to look up an article that's committing a logical fallacy and just give the title, author, and brief summary. The easiest way to do this one is if you know of a logical fallacy that somebody's committed in the news before or in sports or something like that, you could just type that into Google and you'll find an article that is saying that somewhere. Okay, so that's the first week of Module 4. After that, you're going to start brainstorming and drafting your paper. And so, to brainstorm your paper, these are some questions that you can use. First, talk about a topic that you have a strong opinion about. Pick something that can be argued about and try to write a paragraph. No COVID, abortion, politics stuff. We want to be able to share this and have a good time. So if you want to argue something fun like that In-N-Out is better than Whataburger, or vice versa, or that the Spurs are better than the Lakers, or any of those kinds of arguments are fine. You can argue that people treated Johnny Depp unfairly or whatever. I'm not sure how that trial works or anything, but that's going on right now while I'm recording this. Yeah, you can argue any of those things that you want. Find one source online that you can use to support this topic. Skim through it, give a short summary and a hyperlink. So try to find like an overview kind of source that just covers the whole, maybe both sides of the argument at first, and then later on you'll find some other sources. Find one source online that you disagree with, find one source online that disagrees with you on this issue, and skim through it and give a short summary. So for this project, you're going to want to be able to have both sides of your argument, and you're going to put both of them in your paper. You're going to mostly support your own points. You're going to have your argument that you're making. The Spurs are better than the Lakers. And then you're going to have your different points in each one of your paragraphs. The Spurs have a better winning percentage than the Lakers. The Spurs are better in the last 20 years on the Lakers, and they didn't have to buy all their championships. And then you would have, then you have to find a paragraph. You have to have a paragraph in there that covers some of the reasons people would say you were wrong, and show why they're incorrect about that. So maybe my last body paragraph would be something like, many people say that the Lakers are better because they're more popular and they have more championships, but the Lakers have always spent a huge amount of money to bring in giant players, and they live in Los Angeles, which has an unfair advantage over everyone else. And then once you've figured all of your argument out, then you just have to actually draft it out. This is a sample one that I've used a lot of times before, where I say food trucks are a better startup than restaurants. And so this is just my basic outline that I've made here. I'll have my intro and then my thesis, which is basically saying this, but in a longer set of words and with some reasons. I'll have my counter arguments here first as to why people would say that restaurants are better, and then I'll have my actual arguments after that. You can put those in whatever order you want. Once I have my basic outline, just like last time, I'm going to turn these into topic sentences, and then slowly turn that into actual body paragraphs. And the body paragraphs will work just like they did in paper 2, where you'll have those 4 different parts. Your topic sentence, elaboration on your topic sentence, your evidence that you'll get from the various articles that you're going to look up. You need to have at least 4 of them. And explanation of your evidence. So you'll end up writing a body paragraph for this one, and then you'll go on and you'll draft the rest of your paper. For each body paragraph, make sure you have some kind of piece of evidence in it. Every body paragraph that you write in a research assignment like this needs to have a piece of evidence, and you need to have a variety of evidence. You can't just have a paper that is all based on one source. You need to have several different sources that you're pulling from and making an argument that's all your own. Okay, so after that, then we get into the peer review, which is going to work the same exact way as last time. You'll turn your draft in on Sunday. You will do all of your peer reviews by Tuesday, and then you'll turn in your next draft to me by Thursday. And then I'll go over it that weekend. I'll give a video giving you guys feedback. And then you'll have until November the 8th, or whatever date it says, to finish your rewrites. Okay, guys, that's everything for module number 4. If you have any questions, send me an email.